Okay, so our first language arts lesson is going to be Unit 6, Week 1, Day 1. We are going to be learning about what compels us to survive, which I think is really fascinating because of what we're going through right now with the coronavirus. So I want you to think about that for a second. What compels us to survive? What drives us to survive? People are faced with so many challenges in their lives, and a lot of people just keep going. They keep trying. They don't give up. What drives us to never give up? Okay? So if you want to just jot your answer down on a piece of paper, go right ahead. And I want you to think about it. So in this unit, you're going to read and compare selections about characters who are up against the wild and analyze how different genres approach similar themes. And here's the video.
Up against the wild. Nature is awesome and inspiring, but it can turn dangerous quickly. People often fight dearly against the elements and their fears. What compels us to survive?
Okay, so you saw a lot of like outdoor survival, but we also have what we're surviving right now. So just think about that for a minute. Jot down any notes that you might have, any thoughts you might have, and we will keep moving on. Okay, so first of all, I want you to know that you can log on to Benchmark, and I want you to log on to Benchmark. You go to clever.com, you look for the Benchmark app, which is it's red and blue and yellow and green. It's a whole bunch of colors. And you click on that, and then it's going to ask you for your email address and your password, which is your LAUSD email address and password. Click on that, and then look for assignments. And you'll see that I've assigned by grade because I had to. I've assigned the book as well as the grammar work and spelling workbook as well as a novel study. So you can follow along as I do this. Okay, it's not hard, I promise. Okay, so let's keep going. So as you see, there's pictures here. I want you to look at the pictures for a minute. What is she doing here? Does that look like rock climbing to you? We have dog sledding. We have a fire. So lots of ways we have to survive. This is snow. How do we survive in the snow? How do we survive in rough conditions? Okay, moving on. For early humans, the issue of survival was an immediate and daily worry for us. Survival is not something we think about all the time, at least not until something threatens our well being. We usually have access to food and water. We have buildings to live in that protect us. But what happens when something does threaten our chances of survival? How do we react? In this unit, we'll read a variety of texts about how people face challenges to their survival. We will pay attention to what happens to threaten their survival and how they respond to those threats. We will consider whether everyone responds in the same way and what our reaction would be in the same situation. Again, this is fascinating because we're going through something that we have to rely on our survival instincts as well as each other to survive, as what's happening is threatening our well-being. We do have access to food and water. We have buildings to live in, thank God. Some people don't. How are we reacting? Are we reacting with anger? Are we reacting with love? Are we acting with compassion? How are you reacting? Okay, so I want you to think about this. If something threatened my survival, I would blank. We survive by blank. In other parts of the world, survival blank. So I want you to just jot down some of your ideas there. I'd like you to also write a few questions that you might have. For example, I wonder how people survive. What if a fire or tornado storm occurred? How would I respond if? So, how do you respond when a big virus takes over the world? Right? Okay. So now I'm going to ask you some questions and I want you to write your answers down. What do people need to survive? What threats to survival might people face? Why do we enjoy reading survival stories? What can we learn from them? So you can write these questions down and write your answers down to them. Remember, you can always stop this video, pause it, write down, and then go back. Okay. So you might already know that people need food, water, and shelter to survive. What else do they need to survive? What are some threats to survival that people might face? Storms, fires, floods, lack of food, war, and a virus. What else? Why do we enjoy reading survival stories? What can we learn from them? Well, I like reading survival stories because I'm always fascinated how people handle like really difficult situations and what is it that drives them to get through it and not give up. And it might also help for the future. Who knows? You never know, right? Okay. So that's for that. That's that. Right now, I'm going to read first of all, we're going to read Androcles and the Lion. Again, I have assigned this in your benchmark so you can open that up and follow along with me, or you can just follow along with me here. Okay. So this was written by Aesop, which means it's a fable. It's in the third person, which we know means that it's from he, she, them, her, as opposed to I, me, my, which is first person. It's a third person narrative, which means it will tell about Androcles and the lion and what happens to them. It has an old fashioned drawing, which means that it will have a moral or teach a lesson. That doesn't mean that, but it usually fables teach a moral or a lesson. Okay, so the purpose today is to read to learn the fate of Androcles and the lion, to underline key events in the story. Now, if you can't figure out how to use the highlighters, there is a highlighter that you can use, but that's going to take some time. So what you can do is when you're reading this, I want you to write down at least 10 key events. At least 10 key events. And then you're going to write a summary in order using those 10 key events. Okay? Okay, so here we go. Here we go. How do I get it? All right. Trying to find it, you guys. Let's see. I know I can do this. How do I get it? Huh. Well, that's fun, isn't it? Let's see. Usually I can click on there. And I definitely cannot see that. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on a second. Where are you? Oh, there you are. See? See how I did that? So when it's in present mode and you don't know what to do, you can flip the page like that. Ah, ta-da! And then I want to make it bigger. So on this side, you can actually use the highlighter, see the pen, the eraser. You can edit it, highlight, shape, text. Okay, so here's how I make it bigger. See, I'm learning just like you guys. Oh no, that's not for that. Okay. So, all right, oh well. Okay, so Andronicles and the Lion by Aesop. Andronicles, an escaped slave, comes face to face with a man-eating lion 2 times in this story. How will he survive this life-threatening situation? Back in the days of the Roman Empire, a slave named Andronicles escaped from his master and then fled into the deep, dark forest. While wandering about in the dense woods, he came upon a lion lying down and loudly moaning and groaning. At first, Androcles turned to flee, but finding that the lion did not pursue him, he turned back and went up to the beast. As he came near, the lion put out his paw, which was swollen and bleeding. Androcles found that a huge thorn had got into the paw, and that was causing the lion's pain. Androcles pulled out the thorn and then bound up the paw of the lion. The grateful cat rose, and not unlike a house pet, licked the hand of Androcles. Then the lion took Androcles to his cave. Every day he brought Androcles meat, which filled Androcles' stomach, but shortly afterward, both Androcles and the lion were captured and sent to the city to be part of the public spectacle. The slave was sentenced to be thrown to the lion in front of the emperor and all his court. Meanwhile, the poor lion had been kept without food for several days, so he was ravenous, and all thought he would devour Androcles in an instant. The time came, and Androcles was led into the middle of the arena. Soon the lion was let loose from his den and rushed bounding and roaring toward his victim. But as soon as the lion came near Androcles, he recognized his friend. The lion fawned upon him and licked his hands lovingly. The emperor, surprised at this, summoned Androcles to him. Androcles then told him about how he had helped the lion by removing the thorn, whereupon the emperor pardoned and freed the brave slave and let the lion loose in his native forest. That was very sweet. So, also, I just want you to know that you can have it read to you.
Short read 1.
See?
Remember to annotate
so
as
then
you read.
I'm trying to show you and teach you at the same time.
Androcles and the Lion
Like, if
by
you want to
Aesop.
highlight, you can
Androcles, an escaped slave, comes face to face with a man-eating lion 2 times in this story. How will he survive this life-threatening situation? Back in the days of the Roman Empire, a slave named Androcles escaped from his master and then fled into the deep, dark forest. While wandering about in the dense woods, he came upon a lion lying down and loudly moaning and groaning. At first, Androcles turned to flee, but finding that the lion did not pursue him, he turned back and went up to the beast. As he came near, the lion put out his paw, which was swollen and bleeding. Androcles found that a huge thorn had got into the paw, and that was causing the lion's pain. Androcles pulled out the thorn and then bound up the paw of the lion. The grateful cat rose and, not unlike a house pet, licked the hand of Androcles.
Whoops. Okay. So if you saw what I was doing, because this is a learning process for all of us, you can make annotations. You can take notes, okay? You can make annotations. Yeah, so you see, like, you can write your answers. Okay. Right. So you can figure out, you guys are smart. You can play around with this stuff, right? So, okay. So after reading that, so as you see, you can listen to it. You can edit it.
Groaning.
It's in present mode. Okay. I'm just going along with you guys, right? So this is how you turn the page to go back. This is how I can't get out of here. This is, you click over here to go forward, or you can click here and you can look at everything, right? So after reading Androcles and the Lion, I want you to, again, you can listen to it again, and I want you to write down 10 key details in order and write a summary about that, okay? Then what I want you to do is, see, this is why, I don't know why I can't make it bigger. Bigger. Hopefully you guys can figure that out. Okay, so you're going to write down 10 details in order. Basically, you're going to write down 10 details in order. You're going to write a summary. You're going to read Brush Fire. You're going to take notes, obviously. You're also going to go through this word study, and you're going to find words. We're going to go through this. I'm not going to have you do this now, but this is what our week is like. We're going to find the spelling patterns for the spelling words we're working on, and then we're going to fill this out. Okay? So that is for this week. Okay? I'm excited to read these stories with you and to get more into that. So here are some questions that I have for you. Use evidence from the text to support your answer. And these are for Androcles and the Lion. Again, sorry, I'm just trying to... Okay. Androcles puts the lion's well-being before his need for survival. In return, the lion puts Androcles' well-being before his need for survival. What do these events suggest about the need to survive? What causes the emperor to pardon Androcles and free the lion? So I'm going to read them one more time, and I want you to answer those two questions as well as put Androcles and the lion in a good, well-detailed summary. Well, again, the question number 1, Androcles puts the lion well-being before his need for survival, meaning he cares about the lion more than himself. He puts the lion before himself. In return, the lion puts Androcles' well-being before his need for survival. So they both put each other's need for survival first. What do these events suggest about the need to survive? Why do you think that they did that? What does that really mean? Number 2, what causes the emperor to pardon Androcles and free the lion? Pardon means what causes him to tell Androcles he's free. And why does he free the lion? Okay, so I think that's about it for today. And if you want to do an extension, here's your extension. Imagine that you've been asked to write a story about surviving an encounter with a lion. Where can lions be found in the world? Read and take notes from 2 or more sources to answer the question. List the sources of your information. So the prompt is saying, what's the main topic of my research? Lions in the wild. What information will I need to find out? Where can lions be found in the wild? What am I asked to write based on my research? A story about surviving an encounter with a lion. Okay, so you're going to be researching lions in the wild, figuring out where they can be found in the wild, and writing a story about surviving an encounter with a lion. This is something that you can work on during the week. It is an extension, meaning it is not required, but if you want to do it, enjoy. Okay, so for today, I think that that's it. I hope that you learned something. Again, I want you to take notes. I want you to write a summary and answer those questions. And I hope all of this made sense. We'll get it, guys. I promise. Okay, that's all for now.